Welcome back to our channel. Today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of US coin collecting, and specifically, we're shining a light on a coin that might just be hiding in your pocket or collection right now, the 1974 Washington quarter dollar. This coin might seem like just another standard issue at first glance, but don't let that fool you. There are some unique aspects about this quarter that make it valuable to collectors and investors alike. Stick around as we explore what makes the 1974 Washington quarter so interesting, the key features to look for, and how to spot valuable errors that could have you holding onto a coin worth thousands. First, let's talk about the 1974 Washington quarter's design. The coin's obverse features a classic portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Designed by John Flanagan, this image has been used on quarters since 1932 and is one of the most recognizable portraits in U.S. coinage history. On the reverse side, you'll find an eagle perched on an olive branch, symbolizing peace, strength, and freedom. The 1974 quarter was struck in the traditional cupronickel composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, giving it a weight of 6.25 grams and a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. So far, it sounds like a pretty standard quarter, right? But that's where things get interesting. The 1974 Washington quarter isn't especially rare in terms of its mintage, but what makes it stand out to collectors are some of the errors and variations that exist in specific coins. Let's dive into what you need to look for if you're hoping to spot a valuable 1974 quarter. One of the most significant errors to watch out for in the 1974 Washington quarter is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck multiple times by the die, causing certain features to appear duplicated or misaligned. In the case of the 1974 quarter, the error is most noticeable on the lettering or in the fine details of George Washington's portrait. The most sought-after double die varieties on the 1974 Washington quarter include doubling in the word liberty or the date itself, with some examples showing a noticeable shift in the image. These errors can be subtle, so it's important to carefully inspect the coin, especially under a magnifying glass or a microscope, to catch any signs of doubling. If you happen to find one of these error coins, you could have a valuable piece on your hands. Another error to look for is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet is not perfectly aligned with the die, causing the coin to be struck off-center. In some cases, the design may be completely misaligned, with parts of the coin's design missing entirely. This can result in a unique and rare quarter that's highly desirable to collectors. Off-center strikes can vary in severity, but even a slight misalignment can make the coin much more valuable than a regular 1974 quarter. Additionally, some 1974 Washington quarters were struck with a clipped planchet. A clipped planchet happens when the metal used to make the coin is improperly fed into the minting press, resulting in a coin with an irregular edge. If you find a 1974 quarter with a noticeable clip or a missing section of metal, it's considered an error coin and could fetch a higher price from collectors looking for unusual and rare examples. Beyond errors, the condition of the 1974 Washington quarter also plays a crucial role in determining its value. Coins that are well preserved and free from heavy wear are considered much more valuable than those that have been circulated extensively. Look for coins with sharp, clear details, and minimal signs of aging, as these will always be in higher demand. A quarter in mint state condition or better can be worth significantly more than one with obvious wear and tear. Now, let's talk about why a 1974 Washington quarter could be worth much more than its face value. While the regular, error-free 1974 quarter is worth just 25 cents, coins with rare errors or those in pristine condition can fetch a pretty penny at auction. But what's the price range we're talking about here? A well-preserved 1974 quarter that is free of errors might only be worth a couple of dollars. However, if you find a coin with a major error like a double die, off-center strike, or clipped planchet, the value can skyrocket. Some of the rarest and most sought-after 1974 Washington quarters have sold for anywhere between $3,200 to $44,000, depending on the rarity, condition, and type of error. That's a huge difference from its original face value of just 25 cents, So how do you spot one of these valuable quarters? First, always check the coin's condition. If it's been circulating for a long time, it's likely to have noticeable wear, which will lower its value. If you suspect an error, use a magnifying tool to inspect the details carefully. Look for any signs of doubling, especially in the lettering or the date. For off-center strikes and clipped planchets, you'll want to inspect the edges and overall alignment of the design. If you think you found something interesting, consider having the coin professionally graded by a reputable service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. A certified coin will have an official grade that can help determine its exact value. Now, before we wrap up, here's a fun question for you, our viewers. Have you ever found a coin with an error? What was it, and did you end up keeping it? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your experiences and any tips you might have for spotting rare coins in your own collection. To summarize, the 1974 Washington quarter may seem like just another coin from the past, but it holds significant value for collectors, especially those with keen eyes for errors or those in near-perfect condition. If you find a 1974 quarter with a double die error, off-center strike, or clipped planchet, you could be holding onto a rare and valuable piece of American history. Keep an eye out for those details, and remember, it's not just about the coin's face value, it's about the unique qualities that make it stand out. Today's video. If you're a coin collector, history lover, or simply someone curious about the hidden treasures that can be found in your pocket change, you're in for an exciting ride. Today, we're diving deep into a particular coin that, at first glance, might seem like a regular quarter, but in reality, it could be worth thousands of dollars. We're talking about the 1981 Washington quarter. At first, a 1981 quarter might not stand out much. It's a coin we've all seen in circulation, one that's still in circulation today. But as we dig deeper, you'll learn why this seemingly ordinary coin has caught the eye of collectors and investors alike. We'll explore its key features, the errors to look out for, why this coin can fetch such a high price, and how you can spot one of these rare gems. Let's start with the basics. The 1981 Washington quarter features a familiar design. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll see a bust of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. This iconic image of the first U.S. president has been used on the quarter since 1932. Washington's portrait is shown in profile, surrounded by the word Liberty above, with "In God We Trust" to the left and the year 1981 below. This coin, like most U.S. quarters, has a diameter of 24.3 mm and weighs 5.67 grams. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find the majestic bald eagle, symbolizing the strength and unity of the United States. The eagle holds an olive branch in one talon and arrows in the other, an emblem of peace and readiness. The inscription, United States of America, circles the top, and at the bottom, you'll find E pluribus unum, out of many, one, and quarter dollar. This design has remained largely unchanged since 1932, giving the coin a timeless and recognizable appearance. So, what's so special about the 1981 Washington quarter, and why is it valuable? Well, this coin isn't rare in terms of mintage. In fact, millions of 1981 quarters were struck by the U.S. Mint. However, like many coins, it's not the mass-produced ones that hold the greatest value. It's the errors and anomalies in specific coins that make them incredibly desirable to collectors. This is where things start to get exciting. The first and most sought-after error in the 1981 Washington quarter is the double die error. Double die errors happen when the coin is struck more than once by the same die, leading to a doubled design. In the case of the 1981 quarter, you might notice the doubling most prominently in the word Liberty or in the date 1981. In some cases, the doubling can also be seen in parts of Washington's portrait. This error can be relatively subtle, but when found, it makes the coin a true treasure. Collectors pay a premium for coins with this kind of error, making it far more valuable than a standard 1981 quarter. Another error to keep an eye out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the metal planchet, the blank piece of metal before it struck with the design, shifts slightly during the minting process. As a result, the design ends up being off-center, with part of the coin missing or shifted to the side. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. An off-center 1981 Washington quarter can be worth significantly more than one that was struck perfectly in the center. You should also be on the lookout for a clipped planchet error. This occurs when the metal planchet is improperly cut before being struck, causing part of the coin to be missing along its edge. A clipped planchet can leave a portion of the edge jagged or uneven, making it stand out from other coins. These types of errors are much rarer than the standard strikes and are highly prized by collectors, making them another reason the 1981 Washington quarter can be worth more than its face value. Now that we've covered the major errors to look for, let's talk about the condition of the coin. As with any collectible item, the condition is critical when determining its value. A well-circulated coin with noticeable wear and tear won't fetch nearly as much as one that's in uncirculated or near-mint condition. If you can find a 1981 Washington quarter that is uncirculated, meaning it has no signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration, it's much more likely to be worth more than just 25 cents. Coins in pristine condition, especially those graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services, can command a premium price, even without any errors. So why is this quarter valuable? The key reason is that it's not just about rarity, though error coins certainly contribute to that, it's also about the collector's demand. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins with unique features, and a 1981 Washington quarter with a rare error or in exceptional condition is considered a gem. The more rare and unique the coin, the higher its value, especially if it's in great condition or has one of these collectible errors. Now, let's talk money. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1981 Washington quarter with a double die error, off-center strike, or clipped planchet, you might be sitting on a coin worth more than you'd expect. A 1981 quarter with a noticeable error, in excellent condition, or with a high grade could fetch anywhere from $4,200 to $55,000. That's right, $4,200 to $55,000 for a coin that originally had a face value of just 25 cents. So, how do you spot one of these valuable coins? The first step is to carefully examine the coin, especially the date and lettering. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to look for signs of doubling, particularly in the word Liberty or the date 1981. Next, inspect the edges of the coin for any off-center strikes or clipped edges. The more significant the error, the more valuable the coin. Finally, take a close look at the overall condition. If the coin looks like it's in mint or near mint condition, it could be worth far more than its face value. Before we finish, I've got a question for you, our viewers. Have you ever found a coin that you thought might be worth more than its face value? Maybe you have a coin with an error or one that looks unusually well preserved? Let us know in the comments below. I'm eager to hear your stories. To wrap it up, the 1981 Washington quarter dollar may appear like just another piece of pocket change, but it has the potential to be a rare and valuable coin in the right condition or with the right error. So, the next time you're flipping through your spare change or checking out a coin collection, keep an eye out for that 1981 quarter. It could be worth far more than you think. Today's video where we're diving into an exciting and often overlooked coin that holds great potential for collectors and investors alike, the 1979 Washington quarter dollar. This coin may seem like just another part of your everyday change, but with the right knowledge, you could discover that it has a much higher value than you might have thought. That we're going to take a close look at the key features of the 1979 Washington quarter, what errors to look out for, why this coin can be so valuable, and how you can spot one that could make you a small fortune. So, grab a seat, get comfortable, and let's explore this hidden gem of U.S. coinage. The 1979 Washington quarter features the familiar design that has graced the quarter since 1932, but there are certain details that make this particular year stand out in the eyes of collectors. Let's start with the basics. On the obverse, you'll find a portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States. This iconic image was created by John Flanagan, and it's one of the most recognizable and enduring images in U.S. coinage. The word liberty is inscribed above Washington's head, with "In God We Trust" on the left and the year 1979 below. On the reverse side of the coin, we see the majestic bald eagle, a symbol of the power and resilience of the United States. The eagle is perched on an olive branch with arrows in its talon. The inscription, United States of America, curves along the top, and E pluribus unum is featured on the banner. The denomination, quarter dollar, is also inscribed along the bottom, completing the design. The Washington quarter has been a staple of U.S. currency for decades, but what makes the 1979 version especially intriguing are the potential errors that can be found. Even though the U.S. Mint produced millions of these quarters, certain mistakes were made during the minting process, making some 1979 quarters incredibly valuable today. The first error to look out for is the double die error. Double die errors are one of the most highly sought-after mistakes in the coin collecting world. These errors happen when a coin is struck more than once by the same die, resulting in a design that appears doubled or shifted. On the 1979 Washington quarter, double die errors are most noticeable in the lettering, particularly in the word liberty or the date 1979. If you look closely and see the design doubled, that's a huge indicator that you found a rare and valuable error coin. Another important error to watch for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin planchet, the metal blank before it's struck, isn't properly aligned with the die, causing the design to appear off-center. This can result in part of the coin's design being missing, or the design may be shifted to one side. The more severe the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. A 1979 Washington quarter with a significant off-center strike can be a real treasure for collectors. You should also keep an eye out for a clipped planchet error. A clipped planchet occurs when the metal blank is improperly cut before the coin is struck. This results in a missing or jagged section of the coin's edge. Clipped planchets are much rarer than typical errors, so if you come across one of these, you've got yourself a coin that could be worth a lot more than its face value. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. In the world of coin collecting, the condition of the coin plays a massive role in its value. A 1979 Washington quarter in poor condition, with heavy scratches, discoloration, or wear, will not command the same price as one in near mint or mint condition. Uncirculated coins, meaning they show no signs of wear and have been carefully preserved, are the most valuable. If you find a 1979 quarter that's in pristine condition and has been well kept over the years, you could be holding onto a coin that's much more valuable than you thought. Now, you might be wondering, why is this quarter valuable? Well, while the 1979 Washington quarter itself may not be rare in terms of mintage, it's the errors, condition, and collector demand that make it valuable. The world of coin collecting is driven by rarity, and coins with minting errors or those that are in excellent condition are always in high demand. As a result, the 1979 quarter with a double die error, off-center strike, or clipped planchet, especially in uncirculated or near mint condition, can fetch a much higher price than the standard 25-cent value. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins with unique features or rare mistakes, and a 1979 Washington quarter with one of these features is highly sought after. These errors make the coin stand out in a crowd, and they offer a glimpse into the history of coin production, which is why they are considered so valuable in the eyes of collectors. So, how much can you expect a 1979 Washington quarter to be worth? While the average 1979 quarter will still only be worth its face value of 25 cents, those with errors or in exceptional condition can be worth a lot more. A 1979 quarter with a noticeable error, such as a double die, off-center strike, or clipped planchet, could be worth anywhere between $4,100 to $58,000 depending on the error, condition, and demand. That's right, $400 to $58,000 for a coin that originally had a face value of just 25 cents. To spot a valuable 1979 Washington quarter, start by examining the coin carefully. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to look for any signs of doubling, especially in the word liberty or the date 1979. Check the edges of the coin for any off-center strikes or clipped planchets. The more pronounced and unique the error, the more valuable the coin is. Also, pay attention to the overall condition of the coin. If it looks well preserved and shows no signs of wear, it could be worth far more than you initially thought. Before we wrap up, here's a question for all of you. Have you ever found a coin that you thought might be valuable but weren't sure? Maybe it had an unusual design or a unique feature. I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Share your stories, and let's talk about the amazing world of coin collecting. In conclusion, the 1979 Washington quarter dollar may seem like just another quarter, but it has the potential to be a rare and valuable find if you know what to look for. Whether it's a double die error, an off-center strike, or a clipped planchet, a 1979 quarter could be worth much more than its face value. So, next time you're going through your spare change or hunting for coins, keep an eye out for this particular year. You could be holding a hidden treasure. Today's video, where we'll be diving into one of the most exciting coins in the world of U.S. numismatics, the 1982 Washington quarter dollar. Now, you might be thinking, a quarter from 1982? That can't be worth much, right? Well, think again. There's much more to this coin than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just getting into the hobby, today's video will give you all the tips and tricks you need to understand why this seemingly ordinary coin could be hiding a significant value. The 1982 Washington quarter is, at first glance, a standard issue. However, it's worth paying close attention to this coin if you want to get serious about collecting rare pieces. Let's begin by discussing the key features of the 1982 Washington quarter and why it's a coin that collectors should keep an eye out for. The design of the 1982 Washington quarter is, for the most part, just like every other quarter produced since 1932. On the obverse of the coin, you'll see the well-known profile of George Washington, the first President of the United States. Designed by John Flanagan, Washington's likeness has graced the quarter for nearly 9 decades. Above his head, you'll find the word Liberty, and to the left of his bust, the phrase, "In God We Trust." Below his portrait, you'll find the year, 1982, indicating when the coin was minted. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find a striking depiction of a bald eagle, perched proudly on a bundle of arrows and an olive branch. Above the eagle, you'll see United States of America, and the words, E pluribus unum, below it. At the very bottom, you'll find the denomination, quarter dollar. These design elements are what make the 1982 Washington quarter easily recognizable and what makes it part of the series of Washington quarters that have been issued since 1932. If the 1982 quarter looks like just any other quarter, why is it valuable, and why should you care about this particular year? Well, the answer lies in the subtle errors that can occur during the minting process, and they make all the difference in the world of coin collecting. One of the most significant errors to look for on the 1982 Washington quarter is the double die error. This is one of the most desirable errors for collectors. It happens when the coin is struck twice by the same die, causing part of the design to appear doubled. On a 1982 quarter, the most noticeable place to spot the double die error is in the lettering, specifically the word Liberty or the year 1982. Sometimes, you can also see doubling in parts of Washington's portrait. If you spot these signs of a double die error, you could be looking at a very valuable coin. Another important error to keep in mind is the off-center strike. This happens when the metal planchet, or blank coin, isn't properly aligned when it is struck by the die. As a result, the design gets stamped off-center, creating a coin with a misaligned design. The more pronounced the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. If you find a 1982 Washington quarter that looks like it's been struck off-center, it could be worth a pretty penny. In addition to double die errors and off-center strikes, you should also be on the lookout for clipped planchets. A clipped planchet occurs when the metal blank is cut incorrectly, causing part of the coin's edge to be missing. This error can leave part of the coin's design either missing or jagged, making it stand out from other coins. Clipped planchets are not as common as other errors, so if you come across a 1982 Washington quarter with this error, it's definitely worth considering for your collection. Now, you may be wondering, why is a coin like the 1982 Washington quarter so valuable? It comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. While most 1982 Washington quarters are perfectly fine and don't carry any special errors, those that do have unique errors or are in excellent condition can be worth a lot more. The key factor here is that error coins, whether it's a double die, off-center strike, or clipped planchet, are far rarer than standard coins, making them extremely desirable for collectors. Additionally, the condition of the coin plays a massive role in determining its value. If you find a 1982 quarter in uncirculated or near mint condition, it could fetch a significant amount of money, especially if it's one of the rarer error varieties. Let's take a look at the money side of things. While most 1982 Washington quarters are worth just 25 cents, certain error coins and those in excellent condition can be worth far more. A 1982 quarter with a noticeable error, such as a double die or off-center strike, in great condition can fetch anywhere from $4,600 to $60,000. Yes, you heard that right, $4,600 to $60,000 for a quarter that you would normally spend in the store without a second thought. The value can vary depending on the rarity of the error, the condition of the coin, and the current demand from collectors. So, how do you spot a valuable 1982 Washington quarter? The first thing to do is examine the coin closely. Look at the lettering, especially the word Liberty and the date, 1982. If you notice any doubling in the letters or numbers, that could be a sign of the double die error. Next, inspect the coin's edges. Are they straight and even, or do they appear jagged or incomplete? If there are signs of an off-center strike or clipped planchet, you could be holding onto a valuable coin. Finally, consider the condition of the coin. If it looks like it's been well cared for, with no signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration, it might be worth more than just 25 cents. The better the condition, the higher the value. Before we wrap things up, I want to hear from you, our viewers. Have you ever found a coin that you thought might be valuable, but you weren't sure? Maybe you have a 1982 Washington quarter in your collection, and you're wondering if it has an error? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear about your finds and experiences. To summarize, the 1982 Washington quarter dollar may seem like a standard, everyday coin, but it has the potential to be worth much more. If you find one with an error like a double die, off-center strike, or clipped planchet, or if it's in excellent condition, it could be worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. So, the next time you're going through your change, keep an eye out for that 1982 quarter. You might just find a hidden treasure. Today's video, where we're going to uncover the secrets of one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in U.S. numismatics, the 1973 Washington quarter dollar. This coin may seem like just another part of your everyday change, but for collectors and coin enthusiasts, it holds the potential to be worth a lot more than its face value. If you know what to look for, you could discover a rare find that might change the way you think about U.S. coins. So, why should you care about a coin from 1973? After all, the Washington quarter has been in circulation for decades. Well, what makes the 1973 Washington quarter truly special is the potential for errors that can make this coin extremely valuable in the right conditions. By the end of this video, you'll have a deeper understanding of what to look for, what makes this coin so valuable, and how to spot a rare 1973 Washington quarter in your own collection. Let's begin by discussing the key features of the 1973 Washington quarter. This quarter, just like many others minted after 1932, features the classic design by John Flanagan. The obverse shows a left-facing bust of George Washington, the first President of the United States. Above his head, you'll see the word Liberty, and to the left of his profile, the inscription, "In God We Trust," sits proudly. Beneath Washington, you'll see the year, 1973, marking the specific mintage year for the coin. On the reverse, you'll find the famous eagle perched on an olive branch, with its wings spread wide. The eagle's talons hold an olive branch and a bundle of arrows, symbolizing peace and readiness. Above the eagle is the inscription, "United States of America," and below the eagle, you'll see E pluribus unum and the words, $quarter, denoting the denomination. This reverse design has been featured on U.S. quarters since 1932, and it's one of the most iconic images in American coinage. Now, you might be wondering, with such a simple design, what makes this 1973 Washington quarter stand out among other coins? The answer lies in the potential errors that can occur during the minting process. These errors are what can turn an otherwise ordinary coin into a rare and highly sought-after collector's item. The first error to watch out for is the double die error. This is one of the most coveted errors for coin collectors. A double die occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned or has been used multiple times, resulting in a design that appears doubled or shifted. On a 1973 Washington quarter, the most noticeable areas where a double die can occur are the inscriptions, especially the word Liberty and the date, 1973. If you closely inspect the coin and see that the lettering or the date appears doubled or shifted, you might be looking at a valuable error coin. Another important error to look for on the 1973 Washington quarter is the off-center strike. This occurs when the metal blank, the planchet, is not properly aligned during the minting process. As a result, the coin's design is struck off-center, and parts of the design may be missing or appear to be shifted. The more severe the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin can be. If you come across a 1973 Washington quarter with a noticeable off-center strike, you could be holding a rare find. Additionally, clipped planchets are another type of error that occurs during the coin's production. A clipped planchet happens when the blank metal used to strike the coin is improperly cut, leaving part of the edge of the coin missing or jagged. This error is less common than others, but when it occurs, it creates a distinct and unique coin that's sure to stand out in any collection. If you spot a 1973 Washington quarter with a clipped planchet, it could be worth far more than its face value. Now that we've covered some of the errors to look for, let's talk about why these particular coins are so valuable. You might be surprised to know that while the 1973 Washington quarter was mass-produced and is not inherently rare, the error coins and those in excellent condition are what drive up the value. Coin collectors and investors are constantly on the lookout for rare mistakes and coins in high grades, and a 1973 quarter with one of these errors can command a premium price. The main factor that influences the value of the 1973 Washington quarter is its rarity. While millions of these coins were minted, the number of error coins that have survived is much lower. Coins with minting errors are always in demand among collectors, and that's why they can fetch much higher prices than the typical quarter. Additionally, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. A 1973 Washington quarter in mint or near mint condition is worth significantly more than one that has been worn down by years of circulation. So, how much can you expect to get for a 1973 Washington quarter? Well, that all depends on the error, the condition of the coin, and how rare the specific find is. A 1973 Washington quarter with a noticeable double die, off-center strike, or clipped planchet could be worth anywhere between $4,400 and $67,000, depending on its condition and the severity of the error. That's right, $400 to $67,000 for a quarter that's more than 4 decades old. To spot a valuable 1973 Washington quarter, it's important to closely examine the coin for any signs of error. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect the details of the lettering and the design. Look for any doubling in the inscriptions, especially in the word Liberty or the year 1973. Check the edges of the coin for signs of an off-center strike or clipped planchet. The more pronounced and noticeable the error, the higher the potential value. Now, before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a coin that you thought might be valuable but weren't sure? Maybe you have a 1973 Washington quarter in your collection, and you're wondering if it has an error? Drop a comment below and share your experiences with us. We'd love to hear what you've discovered. In conclusion, while the 1973 Washington quarter might seem like just another coin, it has the potential to be a rare and valuable find. With errors like double dies, off-center strikes, and clipped planchets, a 1973 quarter could be worth far more than its face value. So, the next time you're going through your change, take a closer look at your 1,973 quarters. You could be holding onto a hidden treasure. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, tips for spotting errors, and how to build your coin collection, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting.